Hi, this is a walkthrough recording of my final project for the React Redux portion of the Flatiron um, online web developer program. Um, I developed an app called Track My Budget that allows the user to enter expenses, monthly expenses that uh, add to an annual amount and compare that to earned income and investment income as well. As you can see, it's a React Redux front end hooked up to a Rails API backend. You're looking at the README right now. The dependencies for the project can be found in package.json right here. As you can see, we used Redux Thunk as well as React Table in this project. And let's start it up. To start it, you start it with rake start, and it is found on localhost 3000. The API backend is on local host 3001, but you don't ever open that directly. And this is what the project looks like. As you can see, this is the about page. Whichever is the active page turns green in terms of the nav bar styling. The My Budget page is a comparison of your expenses versus your income. The expenses page is where you enter, edit, and delete expenses from your budget. And the income page is where you input your earned income and the tax rate to figure the after-tax earned income, as well as the net invested assets and the assumed rate of return on those assets to come up with the before-tax investment returns, just so that you can kind of get an idea. It may not be flow to you, but how much you are assuming that you're earning per year on your invested assets. Going back to the expenses page, here you can enter an expense such as oil, for instance, which would be house expenses. You can call the categories whatever you'd like. They're not determined in advance, and you can edit them as you prefer. Monthly amount, maybe you're paying $300 a month for heating oil, and click add expense, and there it is. Now we'll add a couple more, such as a babysitter, and that's a child care expense, and that might cost $1,000 a month, certainly in the New York City area. And another thing might be your electric bill, which would be another house expense. And maybe that is $135 a month. I'm just making these up. And you can see that not only does it enter your monthly amount, but it actually enters the actual amount and keeps a running total of your expenses. Certainly one of the biggies is, at the moment in particular, is health insurance. And that's under the general category that I've called insurance, but again, you get to pick your own. And let's say that's $1,500 a month, which is crazy, but true. And now on the table, you can click and on any heading, and it will reverse the sorting order, and it will select whatever one that you pick to sort by. And the nice part about this is, for instance, in the category area, you would be able to look at your housing expenses grouped together. And, so it just gives you a good way to look, oh, look at those are all housing expenses. And the other thing that's nice is that you can look at, what is your biggest annual expense. And as you get more and more in here, you can actually scroll this page as well. And let's say that you want to edit one of these expenses. All you have to do is put in the ID, for instance, number 1. And let's say that I want to change the expense name to heating oil instead of just oil. Heating oil. Oops, spelled that wrong. Heating oil. And then I can just say edit that expense, and now it's heating oil. On the other hand, if I want to delete an expense, let's say that we add in some new expense, and that's a new category, and it's $10 a month. And then I say, well, that's ridiculous. Let's get rid of that one. It's number 5. And let's delete that expense. And there it is. It's been deleted from the database. And over here you can see that the database is, let me refresh it, representing, hopefully I have the right one up here. Perhaps I don't. Let's open the correct database here. That must have been an old copy of it. So let's open up a fresh one. Oh, my computer's deciding to be very slow here. And there is my project. There is my, I think it's the recording that causes it to really slow down. There it is. And so now we can look at the expenses in here. Yep, there they are. And the income is just the initial zeros. Now, over on the income page, you can do some what if analysis. You can say, okay, if I earn $50,000 and the tax rate is 28%, that gives me $36,000 after tax, and let's say I've got $250,000 saved for my investment, for my retirement, and I'm assuming a 4% rate of return. Let's see, put that up there, and now going back to my budget, I can see at the bottom those two assumptions, my after-tax earnings and my before-tax investment returns, that I can just use to compare to my total expenses from the table. I think that it's kind of a powerful tool. I can see adding category views and other things in the next version. If anyone has any ideas about things they'd like to see, I'd love to see it or hear about it. And I hope that you will think that this is a useful tool. Thank you very much, and have a good day.